You're tuned in to the frequency of the crypto revolution. Your host, Daryl Bryan.
Trap money.
AKA Bit Chapo. Bringing you the latest in Bitcoins, altcoins, news events, price volatility, and the knowledge they don't want you to know. 100% facts, no printer. It's the most lit podcast in all of cryptocurrency. Vibrations out of this world. And it all begins right now. You already know.
It's going down.
Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Daryl Bryan, aka Bit Chapo. Thank you for tuning in to the crypto revolution. Today guys, we have an amazing podcast. We're going to discuss Bitcoin, the revolution behind it, and the digital printing press known as Tether. So if you're interested in crypto or know someone who is, tag them in this podcast, share it with them on social media, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and all the usual information will be at the end of the podcast. So let's get into it. Bitcoin itself launching as a decentralized currency. I mean, who saw this coming? I didn't see it coming, you know what I mean? It came out of nowhere, guys. If you don't know the story behind Bitcoin, a man named Satoshi Nakamoto, assumed a man named Satoshi Nakamoto, because he is anonymous, right? No one really knows who he is or who they are. Could be a group of individuals, you know. And this person managed to combine 6 different industries. 6 different industries of technology together to create one technology known as Bitcoin/blockchain. Now, if you heard the word blockchain before the word Bitcoin, blockchain is the underlying technology behind Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is technically the test net of it. It is the example of what Bitcoin can utilize a blockchain for, which the main purpose, the original purpose, is peer-to-peer transactions, sending money in a decentralized format from myself to yourself. Now, this technology, completely changing the world. Like, just in June 2018, IMF released a report titling Monetary Policy in the Digital Age. Crypto assets may one day reduce demand for central bank money. Now, this is honestly insane, because what protects other currencies, such as the US dollar, the Canadian, Mexican peso, so forth and so on, is the faith in the government. To have faith in the institution itself provides stability and safety in the users. But when we look at countries like Venezuela, or in the past such as Zimbabwe, with their hyperinflated currencies, we can honestly see that the faith in the government is not enough to sustain a currency long term. So where cryptocurrency comes along, and the difference between this system and the old system, we are not trusting in anyone. Matter of fact, this whole system is based on the aspect of independent trust. What that means is you verify your money, I verify my money, everyone verifies each other's money independently, and then we all come to the same conclusion. Now, this is done through blockchain technology, through the process of different nodes communicating to each other. In summary, the faith is not in each other, the faith is not in Bitcoin, but rather the algorithm in which each transaction is independently verified. So by us trusting in the math behind it, we can understand that every single transaction that is verified or is confirmed more than 3 times is a verified transaction. And this is revolutionary, guys. Never before have we been able to send money instantly, peer-to-peer, from someone living across the world to you. And the only thing you need is a phone, an app, a mobile wallet, and internet. That's it. People all over the world are participating in a global economy. An economy without borders, an economy without regulation or oversight. And this brings us to our next topic, Tether and the digital printing press. So Tether, if you're not familiar with it, it is one of the first stable coins in cryptocurrency. A stable coin is a coin that is pegged to a traditional asset. That means the value of the coin is 1-to-1 with a traditional asset. So Tether in this case is the US dollar, well, commonly known as US dollar. There are other stable coins that Tether produces, but the most popular is the US dollar. And they claim for every one tether, they have $1 in their banking system. Now they can back it up in case people want to cash out the tether. Now this all seems good and merry in theory, okay? But if we look at our history, I'm talking about the old system of money, we can see fractional reserve banking. What fractional reserve banking is, you can loan someone a full amount of $1 and really and truly only have a fraction of that on hand. So for example, if Tom wants to get a loan for $1,000, you give him that loan for $1,000, but in actuality, you only have $100. That's fractional reserve banking. There's a lot of speculation going on that Tether is using fractional reserve banking to supply the US dollar Tether amongst the cryptocurrency exchanges. Now, like I said before, this is simply speculation, right? There's no proof in them doing this, okay? But if you look at their recent growth, I mean, they have grown to become top 10 market cap overall. I mean, close to $2.7 billion. Just in the month of August 2018 alone, they have printed over $400 million in assets, right? Digital assets. It's a digital printing press, baby. I mean, honestly, I'm pretty sure everyone wishes they thought of it before Tether. But Tether, being the first of the stable coins, a revolution in their own right. But is it right to do this? Is this moral to just simply create money at will, with no regulation, no oversight, no one looking over your shoulder to say, hey man, don't do that? If you look at emerging technologies, regulation is the number one thing that keeps morals in check. It keeps the system running smoothly. Now, that doesn't mean I agree with centralization, the aspect that every single process should be related to one source or should be coming from one source. No, I don't agree with total centralization, but what I do agree with is accountability, responsibility. And this comes with having an open ledger. Now, even though Tether has opened up their blockchain and has shown us their addresses, shown us where their printed tethers, their digital tethers are going, the number one exchange that has the most tethers transacted right now is Binance. Binance, not being a US exchange but coming overseas, they're using tethers to exchange their altcoins or bitcoins for US dollars. Now, this is the primary use case of US dollar Tether when you're dealing with exchanges that cannot gain proper liquidity or do not have access to institutional funds or banking relationships. Now, why is this the case, Shouldn't banks be willing to fund these exchanges with liquidity? I mean, if you look at Binance's record, their return on investment is astonishing. So you would think that banks would love to participate in this new business. But cryptocurrency as a whole is the competition to fiat. We are the revolution as a result of corrupt fiat. And Tether could be an extension of this same corruption in cryptocurrency. When we look at the banks, we look at fractional reserve banking, and we see a concept of I can give you more money than I actually have. And then we look at the US deficit. I'm talking about how much money are we in debt per second. It's astonishing. there is no accountability here. There's no one saying, hey man, you can't be printing money like that, buddy. You gotta calm down. There's no voice saying that people should take it easy or stop what they're doing, right? It's almost as if the banks, central banks, commercial banks, they're too big to fail. They're too big to care. And this is what I'm afraid Tether has become. A central authority in issuing digital assets without any proof that they do have real assets in holding. Now, Tether has been audited by a firm. Let's be honest. Their report came out in June 2018, okay? We have no idea what has happened since then. It is August 2018. Just this month, they've produced over $400 million. Out of thin air, people. No accountability. Will this go on for long? I don't think so. I don't believe it will. I mean, how can it though? If we look at this, the banks know that Tether is their competition. They understand that this market, cryptocurrency, has the potential to overtake the fiat. I mean, can you imagine everyone transacting using Bitcoin? I believe that's our future, and if not transacting using Bitcoin, definitely an altcoin. We have so many use cases of so many different technologies being available. We're going to cover these technologies in further episodes, but the fact of the matter remains that US dollar Tether has become a version of the central bank inside of cryptocurrency, simply by replacing otherwise noted traditional liquidity of the US dollar supplied by banks. The internet always finds a way. People always find a way. Tether, for right now, is the way. But will the way last? I don't believe it will. The only constant in the universe is change. We've seen it time and time again, as we will see here. What has the power to overthrow Tether? A universal partnership between banks, central banks and commercial banks alike, to supply exchanges with real traditional assets. Now, I do understand that our banking system as a whole is flawed. But if everyone agrees that the dollar is worth $1, according to the faith in our government, the faith in our banking system, that equates to 100% reliability in the aspect of I can transfer one Bitcoin into how much ever one Bitcoin is worth in US dollars and get that directly deposited to my bank account. That's a big move. Will the banks cooperate? They have to. It's either join the movement or be devoured by the movement. Blockchain is a revolution, baby. It's gonna take off. While you may think that Bitcoin has a long time before mass adoption or popularity, some people believe that Bitcoin is already popular. I judge adoption based on use cases, based on how many people are retaining their Bitcoin in Bitcoin versus how many people are converting their Bitcoin or exchanging their Bitcoin for US dollars. The joining of central banks and commercial banks in the aspect of supplying liquidity to exchanges will happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when that day comes, Tether will have a lot of shit to explain. And let's hope they're not using fractional reserve banking right now. Because let's be honest, if they were found out doing that, that would cause an extensive bear market. Well, with that being said, we are wrapping up our first episode of It's Crypto Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the Crypto Revolution. I am your host, Daryl Bryan, aka Bit Chapo. Please follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Our Twitter is @It'sCryptoPod. Instagram is It's Crypto Podcast. Everything can be found in the description, including the tracks and music that we've used. Stay in the loop, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for tuning in to the Crypto Revolution, the most lit podcast in all of cryptocurrency. 100% facts, no printer. Follow us on Twitter and stay in the loop. Peace, love, and light. See you soon.